What's up, and welcome to the DreKen Talk Podcast. I am your host, DreKen, on 88.9 The Mix. Today, I have something special for you ladies. I have the boss, Miss Monica Barnett, owner of the Vanquish Beauty Salon Studios, and Monica Lachelle Beauty and Wellness. Monica, thank you for coming on. How are you today?
My pleasure. I am well, and I am honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
Man, it's an honor to have you here. I told you ladies we was going to have something special for the ladies, and what a way to come out. We coming out with the guns blazing, with a bang. We're going to talk about generational wealth, women in power, her and her beauty, wellness, and all the things that go along with that. So we're going to touch on a lot of topics today. So, Monica, I just want to start off. Just introduce yourself for those that don't know you, and just tell them what you do, and go from there.
All right. So I am Monica Barnett. I have been in the beauty industry for about 20 years now, and I've just recently become passionate about empowering and motivating women in my community and my culture all around. I started in the beauty industry as a nail tech and kind of went through every aspect of the business, right? From an apprentice to an assistant to a renter and now an owner, because I just wanted to make sure that I could know every piece of this business and make sure that it's stable for me, right? A lot of times we jump into something and people just want to go straight to the top, but I took baby steps. And now I'm here. I started off as a young teen mother. I had my first child at 16. I dropped out of high school. You probably didn't know that, did you?
I didn't.
Okay. So just the normal statistic, like black sheep in the family, and just wanted to prove something different. Now I have 5 kids, 3 grandchildren, 5 kids later, I'm married, 6-figure stylist, own over 3-time award-winning salon. I recently started a beauty brand during the pandemic, during the quarantine, and that is doing very well. I'm an educator, so I travel all around the world teaching women and men how to work and monetize off the beauty industry. And here I am on DreKen Talk.
On DreKen Talk. Oh, I told you the hottest show in the land. Listen to what I'm telling you. I'm those people that think you can just go straight to the top. I used to think that way. That's why I failed so many times. So it's good to have you in here so you can kind of talk about the way that you went from the bottom. Now you the boss. You know what I'm saying? And that's the stories that we want to talk about, because people talk about everything else. Everything else. He got locked up. Nah, man. We empowering. We're encouraging, and it was a must that we had to get you on the show. Now, I didn't know you had dropped out of high school or whatever, but that makes the story even more immaculate. So, just that's what it's about, man. You go from being like people sitting there, oh, you never gonna amount to nothing, for you being the one that's calling the shots. Right. It's a beautiful story. I'm proud of you for that. But just talk about starting out, though. I know you said you started at the bottom, but let's just talk about some of the troubles.
Transparent, and that's why I wanted this opportunity, because we go way back. Like, we went to high school together. So, even in school, I was what they call a fashion mischief, I wanted to be fly, I wanted to date the guys that were older than me. I didn't really want to listen to what it is that they said we should do. Go to school, get a job, go to college, get a job, work for, somebody else, and retire. That really wasn't my thing. So when I started off in high school, I had a daughter at 16, so I dropped out. And I went back. I went to CVCC, got my business degree. And I got my GED. So I kind of still made sure that I was educating myself and made sure that I was doing the right things for my kids, but I wanted to do it a different route, and that's one thing that I think people get accustomed to, is that you have to go the route that society says you need to go. And I seen this, I'm thinking about this meme that I seen one time. It was a tree, and it was like a fish there, it was a snake, it was a monkey, and it was that was the test. If you can climb the tree, then you won the test, and that's kind of how society looks at us. But everybody can't climb that tree. Right. Everybody is not academically inclined to go to college and do things like that. So a little bit longer way to get there, but but the route that I needed to take, because I believe firmly that your challenges and your trials strengthen you, and that's what builds you, and that's what makes you grow. And going through those things, like I had a salon before, it didn't do so well. I backed up. Went to another salon, and it was like, I'm gonna learn the aspects of this business. So I started in a low rent salon. I started off in a white salon. If I can be transparent, I started off in a white salon because I thought that this salon was gonna take me exactly where I wanted to go, right? Like real quick. And I started doing hair, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't know how to do black hair. Like I'm black, I don't even know how to do black hair. So let me go to a black salon. I learned that. Did the low rent booth thing. I kind of felt like it wasn't professional enough. So then I backed up and said, okay, let me find a place that I can go to that's not, I know how to do hair now. What place is going to teach me the business? So I found a place that taught me the business. I got several mentors. I have a mentor for motivation. I have a mentor for finances. I have a mentor for life coaching, so just putting a bunch of people in my space to help me grow is kind of how I figured out how to do those little baby steps.
That's dope. That's dope. And this show deals with a lot of the youth, as far as sports and things like that. And you hit on a perfect point with that I think some of the mothers and parents should listen to well. You talking about the natural path, the path that everybody say you need to go. Like we got this thing in the high school sports where it's D1 or bust. If I don't go D1, if I don't play D1 football, then I ain't gonna play. When you got JUCOs, you got D1, D2, D3. I mean, you got all these other options, and I think that was a good point you hit on for that aspect for the parents, the mothers and the fathers that don't know that D1 ain't everything. Yeah. And basically that straight path that everybody wants you to go is not always the right path for you. And people that work that winding road like yourself, hey, sky's the limit, stars. So that's a beautiful story, man. And just the fact that you are here to tell your story is even better, because I said this for the ladies, but some of you men gonna learn something from her too, because she a boss, man. And I listen to her, and I apply some of that stuff to my life. I ask them, am I doing this right? So you never know who you're gonna get your blessing from. You never know who you're gonna get that information from. So I'm glad to have you here. So with that being said, talk about your employees, because I know you got all I hear is good stuff. You are a great employer. So just talk about how many employees you got, and how they can get locked in with you if they need some services.
Right now I have a team of 5. Okay. It's 5 of us. People come and go. So I'm really picky about who I bring in my business, and who I bring in my space, because energy transfers, right? So I feel like God sends me who needs to be in my space. I just want to touch on this real quick because I think it's a big deal, but I've had 4 people who have left the salon, and all of them have went on to own their own business. It's so dope to me, and I want to touch on that because they firmly believe that they learned what they needed to know to take it to a new level, and I used to be in my feelings like, what am I doing wrong? Like, why won't they stay? You know what I'm saying? But when I look at it, hindsight 2020, it was their season to learn that, right? And then they picked up and then they left. I have a great team, like a dope team right now. We really are sisters. And in the beginning, when I was working this business, one of the things my mentor said is don't get too close to your employees. Don't be friends with them. Like, they won't respect you, things like that. But me being authentic and transparent, there's a level of respect in there that we give each other, and it's perfect. And I'm trying to bring people in, but like I said, I'm being real picky about the reputation of my salon is really high.
Absolutely.
We have high standards on customer service and professionalism. I don't play around with my baby. Like, that's my baby. So
it means something.
Yeah, definitely. So I make sure, what comes in can produce the same customer service and professionalism that I would.
And one thing that I kind of relate to you on that point. Like, when I brought programs in, it was to help other people to learn to do it this way. Try this way, it'll help. And sometimes you do kind of get caught in your feelings because some people try to make it their own. But at the end of the day, it's like, my stuff and what I was doing was so dope that they learned enough from me to start their own thing, which at the end of the day, it's like, dog, that's what we really want. We want to see other people grow. We want to see other people be able to do things and live out their dreams. And that's just a testament to what you got going on, far as, you as an employer, you open up your doors to these folks. These folks soaked up all the information from you, and then they went and did their own thing. So, like, not disrespectfully, but them your children. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
I mean,
that's
I like to say, like my sisters, and we don't just do hair. They don't just come in and we just do hair. We have quarterly meetings. Yeah. We sit down, we run our numbers. You're not going to come there and not know how much you're making per quarter. You're not going to know what your growth is. You're not going to know how many clients we do client retention. We know our average ticket sales. We know how much we make in a year, how much we make in a quarter. We have goal settings. Mm-hmm. Like it's like a real system and process that goes on in that business, and I think that's where that confidence grows at.
And that's the great thing right there, because this ain't no side business. This ain't no, the word they say, business. It's not that. Mm-hmm. This is real. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, they take that route of the shortcuts. We not gonna keep up with the retention. We not gonna keep up with customer service. And that's where you lose at. Mm-hmm. You take a little bit of time, a little bit extra money to do that. That's how your business thrives, because you'll be able to tell every place where you need help at, or what's your strong points, what's your weak points, what you need to work on. And that one thing about just being a business mind, not just saying I'm a business owner. Anybody can be a business owner. I can go and say Rocket Jet Fluid by DreKen, and I don't know nothing about Rocket Jet Fluid, but the fact that you put in the work and you go behind the scenes and you make sure that all the books are right, mm-hmm. All your girls are taken care of. They know most importantly, they know. So it ain't like, well, she cheating me. No, I ain't cheating you. It's right here in black and white. Yeah. So just talk about, I know you go to a lot of like hair shows, and you are sought after. People want you to speak. Like, you're a motivational speaker. Like I told you, I was listening to some of your stuff a while back, and I'm sitting there like questioning myself, like, is this? So you got something for men and women, but just talk about, your motivational speaking and all of the like beauty pageants and hair shows and things you go to. So,
yeah, I go to a lot of hair shows. I do some speaking, but not always. I'm really an introvert. Most people don't think that, but I really like to be behind the scenes. I like to soak up the knowledge more than giving it. I like to give it in small groups, because I can see who's passionate and who's not, and I don't like to waste energy in somebody who's just listening but not really hearing me. So and that's draining. So when I go to the hair shows, I'm really there as a spectator. I like to get around like-minded people and get motivated, and then I like to bring it back to my community and give it out there. And speaking of like when you were saying about side gigs, a lot of people that jump into hair really jump into it like a side job, and that's how I looked at it at first. When I started off doing hair, it was part-time. I was in telecommunications, and I was making good money, and I had benefits and 401k, and I was just doing hair on the side. Anything that you like to do, that people see you having fun doing, it looks like a hobby. And people don't really look at it like a career. And that's how I kind of looked at it. So I had my hands in a bunch of different things, like what's going to pop, what's going to make it for my family. So when I got laid off in telecommunications, I just started doing hair full time. And I was like, I'm just going to do this till I find a job, But people actually started liking me, and it's not so much that I did excellent hair. Like I do good hair, but I grew along the way. But in the beginning, it was just my personality that people were attracted to, my authenticity that people were attracted to. And when they left, they didn't just leave with their hair done, they were filled up. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They walked in different. They walked out different. They were motivated. They felt like they could conquer the world. And I knew that's what it was that they were attracted to. It wasn't so much about they looked good, but they felt good too. Yeah. So like looking at like what you need to do as what you're happy doing. They always say, like, if you had all the money in the world, what would you do? That one thing, when you can find out what that is and monetize off of that, that's success. Waking up every single day, going to work, doing something that you love to do, that's success.
It's not a job at that point.
Exactly.
It's not a job at that point. That's something that you definitely want to do. You enjoy doing it. So, I mean, it's not, you don't feel like, my thing is with me, like I got a problem with I don't think authority. I do because I can have a great manager, and I can have a you know what manager, but it's always gonna end the same way because I have a mentality like, dang man, nothing that you did wrong. It's just that I just have the idea of me being a worker and not being a boss because I got a boss mentality, So
And there are people like that.
Yeah.
And you should definitely monetize off that because I never thought I was going to be a boss. And you got to listen to what people tell you because people used to always say, you're going to own your own business one day. And I'm like, what do you see that lets you know that? Yeah. And they would always say that you're going to be a boss one day. I felt like I was better as a part of a team. I felt like I was better behind the scenes, but I always ended up in a leadership position. No matter where I worked at, I would start entry level, but always ended up leadership. If I was in a social group, I like to sit in the back. I like to listen, but always ended up in leadership. You know what I'm saying? So things that people tell you and things that you see is the direction that you need to go.
That's it. I mean, some people are just born leaders, and no matter what we try to do to not be the leader, we always going to work ourselves to the forefront. Yeah. And that's a gift and a curse at times. Exactly. But at the end of the day, it's only a certain amount of people that can handle that. Mm-hmm. But this whole thing you was just talking about, and I want to make sure that I get it right. You were talking about it slipped my mind, but we'll get back to it. Yeah. Yeah, we're getting old. I'm getting old. I know I'm getting old and I'm getting senile. But at the end of the day, like, you're respected around here. But at the same time, we have folks that, envious of things, which we don't. We still want to uplift them. We still want to, make sure that they are doing well. And don't worry about me. Worry about what you got going on type thing. So what's your feeling towards some of that envy and stuff that's out there?
I really don't. I even asked my husband this one time because I was like, "You think I got haters?" People be like, "You got haters?" I be like, "I ain't got no haters. Everybody love me."
You like, who don't got no haters? Really, you don't notice. You got them, but you don't notice because it's not important to you.
It must be. I even asked him. I was like, "You think I got haters?" He's like, "You definitely have haters." There's not a hate bone in my body, so I really can't understand it. I can't understand it because even people who are doing better than me, those are the people I want to get around. Those are the people that I come to consult with, that I pay to teach me how to get where you are, Yeah. So I'm never envious. I mean, anybody that's envious of me, I mean, all I can say is why. Like I'm open. Right now I don't even charge for strategy sessions. Like I have on my website, if you want to sit down and have an hour coaching call with me about whatever business, the salons ain't just about doing hair. Like I speak on business levels. I can teach you how to open a business, run a podcast, like anything we can talk about. It's free. So as much as I'm giving to somebody, there's no reason to hate on me. Even if we're in competition, I like friendly competition.
Yeah, friendly competition.
Yeah. It gets you to the next level. I look at challenges as opportunities.
Yeah.
So I mean, the hating thing, I just wish people would get rid of it. We all got the same 24 hours in a day.
No doubt.
It is not lack of knowledge because it's knowledge everywhere out here. You can figure out what it is that you want to do. You just lazy. So don't be mad at me. Be mad at yourself.
Yeah. And the reason why I didn't bring that up to be, drama or I brought that up because I knew the answer that you was gonna give. I know that you don't really. It don't matter to you.
Yeah.
And some people just needed to hear that because. Some people might sometimes think you don't like them.
Yeah.
But them hearing you say, listen, man, I don't got, even if you hating on me, I don't got no hate in my bone. You come out here, you talk to me, we'll get it working. Yeah. We'll make sure you need this information. I might learn something for you. Let's work and collaborate together instead of us, apart. Because together you're gonna dominate everything. You can not just have ideas that you can knock off each other, bounce off each other and stuff like that. So I just wanted to bring that part up so it can be known that Monica Lachelle, Monica Barnett, don't hate, come on and come get the information, and the information is important.
And I reach out to people like, I see you doing this thing. Let me know if you have any questions, People coming to the salon, like, I feel like even though I've been in this industry for 20 years, I'm still not the veteran of the beauty industry. Like there's a lot of stylists out here that I look up to, and there's a lot of stylists that have came after me, but they'll open up a shop and not just saying this shop. And not just saying me. We're the type of people who will open up 3 of the same stores within a 10-mile radius instead of trying to get together and blow up one place. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to be a boss. Everybody can't be a chief. You gotta have some Indians, and that doesn't make you any less. And majority of the time, the Indians make more money than the chief, because the chief gotta pay overhead, they gotta pay insurance, they gotta the Indians get to go home at the end of the day. They're not worried about
it.
You know what I mean?
That extra part.
Right.
They don't understand that after you leave.
Exactly.
When you get off, they don't understand that's why I get paid the bucks I do.
Right.
This is the extra that I do.
Exactly. So.
But yeah, I mean, it's
You gotta change the mindset.
You do. You gotta change your mindset. You gotta change your mindset. And one thing I will tell you, the Joneses will keep you broke. You trying to keep up with the Joneses will keep you broke. Mm-hmm. But like, one thing that we want to touch on too is value. Let's be real. Hairstyles, to some people, when they come, they might think it's expensive. But I'm like this: if it's something you want and if it's quality, I'm gonna pay for what I'm getting. Like I'm telling people now, like, you better get with me now, because when this thing blow,
right.
like when this thing blow, which shit's gonna blow, the price goes up. So you better believe in me now. Right. But let's just talk about your value and of your business and the quality of work you do and your expectation.
Right. Value is looked at as a whole to me. Skill will only get you so far, but how you make that client feel at the end of the day is where that value comes in. Mm-hmm. So I could say, like, you could have a stylist over here on the left and she is magnificent at hair. She gonna lay your hair and you don't have to worry about nothing. But she late, she eating on the floor, she on the phone with her baby daddy the whole time she doing your hair. She ain't asked you how your day was, like none of that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But then you can have a mediocre stylist over here. She's still gonna do your hair nice. It ain't gonna be to that perfection, but she show up early. She greets you at the door. She offer you coffee. She offer you water. She remember your name. She asks you how how's your daughter Jennifer doing? Did she make the cheerleading team? She remembers you. She builds a rapport. Yeah. So when you come to Vanquish, from the time you book your appointment, you get a confirmation text message from us that says, hey, your appointment is on this day and this time. You get a reminder text that says, hey, reminding you that your appointment is in 2 days. Hit C to confirm. When you hit the door, you check in, we offer you coffee, we offer you water, we offer you tea, whatever you want to do. You go, we sanitize together. You sit down at the shampoo bowl, we put your feet up. You get your shampoo, you get your style, you get a head massage. We take you to a room that's the lights are dim. You get a treatment with a steam wrap on your head. You put the dry down. You can read a book. You can play on your phone. You can take a nap.
So you mean to tell me when you working on these grays, I can get some, so I can sip on some wine? Yeah. Yeah, that's dope. I mean,
not wine, not cherry.
Not wine? Teal water. Yeah. All right, I drink some water for the meantime, but
it's an experience.
No doubt.
So like you can't put value on something when you don't have the entire experience. You know what I mean? So when they come out to the styling area, we're all talking. We ain't gossiping. We talking about stocks.
Yeah.
We talking about relationships. We talking about how to build wealth. When you leave with Vanquish, you're leaving with something more than just getting your hair done. That's the value. That's the experience that they come for.
That's like the barbershop chop talk.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they talk: sports, debates.
Yeah.
And I mean,
it's like your weekly fix.
It is. It's a weekly fix. It's and it's pure because there's no faking in it. I mean, you might have some people that that's kind of finicky or whatever. But at the end of the day, the majority of it is authentic and it's good conversation.
Right.
Because like one thing, like I said, I told myself I was gonna do. I'm gonna try to encourage. I don't feel like I got any enemies right now.
Right.
Because that's my mindset. And you might feel I'm your enemy, but I'm not.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, and I hate to say it like this, but I don't really know if you dead or alive because I'm so focused on what I got going on. And does that mean I don't care? About you? No, it's just that I don't care about the beef.
Right.
If there is any, because I don't have none. Yeah. So we gonna I like your focus. So talk about just how you keep it locked in. That's it.
This last year for me, and I've had to like draw back. Like this last year for me has been about inner self. Right. I had been before just working on my business, working on the career, just going. But the pandemic and the quarantine actually allowed me to figure out what's really important to me and myself and how to keep the peace right now. So like I've started meditating, like, and it's just taking me to a whole nother level. So I'm at a point where if it's going to interfere with my peace at all, I dead it. I cut it off. I don't care. You could be mother, sister, cousin, brother. I don't care what it is. If it's going to interrupt my peace in any type of way, then I just get rid of it. Like people are attracted to drama. And it's no fault of their own. It's just what they've grown up around, you know? So it's just like routine habit. So they feel like if there's no drama going on, then they ain't really doing nothing in their life. But that's what's going to always be attracted to them. That's what they're going to always bring in. But when you change that mindset to gratitude, being grateful for things that you have and not looking at what you don't have, you start to change your mindset to where you start bringing in joy and happiness and peace.
And that's it. Like people, I'm a firm believer. You can feel somebody's positive energy. You can feel somebody's negative energy. Somebody can make you feel good and change your whole day. Somebody can make you feel bad and change your whole day. And the drama part where people think, like, they don't understand. The same thing that you like is causing you distress. It's causing drama is nothing but a ball of stress.
Yes.
That's all it is. Unnecessary. It probably don't have no bearing on your life except for what somebody say or some social status or something like that. So that's ridiculous to me. But I
don't really think that stress is really real. I'm not saying that it's not real, but it's all in how you look at it, because I used to be a stressed out mess, you know, and like my husband, like 10 years ago or 15 years ago, you know, we would lay in the bed and sometimes the lights would be off, right? Like we ain't pay the light bill. And I'm like, he over there sleeping and snoring. And I'm like, how did you sleep? You know, we don't have no lights. Like we don't know how we gonna do this. And he said, Monica, what can you do about it right now? You gonna lose sleep over something that you don't have no control over? And he's always so optimistic. And I'm like, he was completely right. So like somebody can take a situation that might look detrimental to you and be completely stressed out about it, but somebody else can take that same situation and be like, okay, what is this challenge? What is this lesson I'm supposed to learn? How am I going to build from this going forward? And be completely fine. So it's all about how you think about it, because like I said, it could be two same situations and somebody stressed out and somebody over here carefree. You know, so it's just all how you think about it.
Mental health is a big part of it, you know. Mental health is something that, you know, I'm definitely going to touch on, and I'm going to touch on with some professionals, because we all got some type of mental deficiencies, whether we admit it or not. Everybody. But we're going to change directions a little bit. Okay. Far as you creating generational wealth. Now, I know you got 5 wonderful kids, you got a husband and everything. How do you balance that time and with your businesses and with your family, and also your generational wealth plan that you have? How do you all keep that all intertwined?
So I've really learned how to set boundaries, right? So even with myself, you know, when I go to work, I'm at work. When I'm at home, I'm at home. When we eat dinner at the dinner table every night. Like ain't no eating outside your room. We have dinner together every night. And that's the things that we talk about, generational wealth. We're trying to pour ownership into our kids, you know, because we did the thing before where when you get out of school, get a job. But now we want to see what you're good at and how you can have ownership over that. So we start with that, talking about entrepreneurship with our kids. Generational wealth is we're starting right now is making sure we all have a life insurance policy. All of my kids have an Acorns account where we're putting money in to the Acorns account. Yes, and it's building. So when they get to a certain age, they'll have money here. The way that I'm teaching them is to make your money inconvenience for you. And let me touch on that. So like my son, he's 17. He works at Centra. He has benefits. He has his 401k, right? So he's putting into his 401k. Then he's putting into his checking account, his savings account, and then he has an online savings account that's over here that he can't touch. So I'm making them spread their money out so that it's an inconvenience. Because when all your money is in the same place, you quick to pull on it. You know what I mean? Or if it's just in my savings and I can transfer it from my savings to my checking in 5 seconds, then it really ain't doing nothing. But if it's over here and it's gonna take 3 days to get to me, then you think about it a little bit longer. You got stocks, you got a stock account over here at Robinhood, and then you got one over here at Stockpile. So it ain't like you can pull out all your money at the same time. You got to play over here, you got to play over here. So teaching that, making the money inconvenience, and then life insurance, mutual funds, just spreading it all out. That's what I'm teaching.
Yeah, I'm listening heavy right now because I'm terrible with money. I mean, I got things in place that I'm working on, but like to someone like me that like my thing is always I can't go with it. But at the same time, it used to be that. But now I got nieces, I got nephews. I got to formulate something that I can leave behind for them. I got to be able to get buried. I don't want that stress on everybody putting that'll be and no disrespect to nobody. Right. No disrespect to nobody. But to me, a GoFundMe fund to bury somebody,
it's heart-wrenching.
I don't like that. Like, I don't want to do that to my family. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't see, that ain't a good look. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I say it's not a good look, not because somebody poor, they can't do it. Maybe they don't have the information of what burial insurance is, what life insurance is, and I think, you spreading that to some of these parents and, male and female about how you got your kids in an Acorn account, little stuff like that. I tell people all the time, and I tell myself this, you save $1 a day, that's $365. It's $365 at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. You do that for 10 years,
Yeah, we have a picture on our refrigerator of a financial house. And the financial house starts with life insurance. That protects, people look at life insurance like, well, what happens if I don't die? You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to be able to use that money, but that it protects the income. Yeah. Not only that you're losing this person, but you've also lost their income. So that protects. Life insurance is cheap. We pay $65. We have $500,000 on me, $500,000 on my husband. We got $25 on each one of our kids. Yeah. That's 7 of us. $65. Yeah. Life insurance is cheap. People feel like they can't afford it, but you can't afford not to have it. Yeah. There's this level of when you're in survival mode, you really can't see peripheral, right? You got to see what's right in front of you. Yeah. But when you have your life insurance policy in place, when you have your emergency fund in place, you start to see, you let your shoulders down a little bit. You start to see what's around you, and then you can start seeing how to grow your wealth. Yeah. You really can't see it when you're in survival mode because you don't have that protection. You're afraid. Yeah. If something happens, what am I going to do? But if you have an emergency fund, even if it's $1,000, $2,000, even that still it lets you be a little bit free. If I need tires on my car, I know I'm straight. Yeah. It just opens up this level of clarity where you can just see things. It's like when you're in survival mode, you're in like a tornado, right? And all this turbulence is going on around you and you don't know which way to walk, which way to go. Mm-hmm. But once you start building this financial house, when you put your frame up with your stocks and your mutual funds and you get a little piece of investment property, things start to be clearer. And you're like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. But you got to start one step at a time. People think you're just supposed to just go straight to the top.
What I was going to tell you.
Baby steps.
Talk on the baby steps because like I said, man, I'm listening to you too. Because like, I'm hard-headed and this is just me. I'm hard-headed.
So I got to check back in.
You got to check. Because I'm shooting for the gusto. Like, that's just me. This is what I do. But with this process, we've learned to slow it down. And things are starting to work out a little better.
Life insurance policy is first. Yeah. You have to do that first. And
I'm locked in there.
Yeah, that's good. And I mean, and if you think that you're not really disciplined enough, with the life insurance, then get your burial stuff together. I'm not really a big fan of that because I feel like if I'm going to pay $15,000 for my burial and I don't know when I'm going to die, if it's going to be 10, 15 years, that $10,000 can be over here making money, growing interest, so you have to be disciplined. That's key is discipline. And then starting that emergency fund, they say 3 to 6 months of your income. So if you're out of work for 3 to 6 months, what is that? And put that in there. You can start with $1,000. And it don't always have to like be, oh my gosh, I can't have no fun. Like, oh my gosh, I hate a budget. You figure out like 100% of your money. I pay myself first.
Yeah.
Period. I pay myself 10% first. So if I don't care if a bill is due, I'm putting my 10% to my savings account first, and then I live off of what's left. Yeah. So then I do 30%. I put away from my taxes because I have a business, and then I put 30% to my bills, and I'll blow 10%. Because I mean, I got one life to live, you know? So if I want to go buy me a designer bag or something like that, then that's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to make sure my stuff's straight first.
No doubt. So now you can speak to both of these. You can speak as the boss. Mm-hmm. You can talk that boss talk. But talk, and you can talk I'm trying to get there talk. Because you was there before. You was at the bottom before.
Yeah.
So you gave us what it is up at the top. But what type of advice would you have to like a struggling single mother, you know what I'm saying? What advice would you have to her for her to get her stuff kick-started? Because it can happen. It can happen.
Yeah, when I had 5 kids when I was working at I started off at Star Tech. I started off at $950. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like so you don't get a whole lot of money, but that 10%, it doesn't matter. 10% is 10%. Whether it's 10% of 3,000 or if it's 10% of 300. You still have to put that, like you said, $1 a day is $365. You'll start to see that grow. You still have to pay yourself first. They think like, okay, I make $8 an hour. That's not enough to survive. But if you move that 10%, okay, now you living off, say, $7.50 an hour. You know, it was a point where I was making $12 an hour, but I'm still gonna live like I'm living off of $8.50 because I still made it. Yeah. Off the $8.50. You know what I'm saying? It was sacrifices and things that we had to do. I had to get help from the system. You know, I had to get food.
Yeah, and don't be ashamed of that, man. I mean, the people that's abusing it, that's a different story. But people that need that, man, don't be ashamed of that. But go ahead.
It's a stepping stone. It's a stepping stone. It's what you need to get to the next level. So even when you get a raise, you still live off of like you was living off what you started with. Yeah. And putting that money to the side and not pulling on it every time you have to really think about if this is a need or if this is a want. You know, we want something and we want to pull from our savings account. That money is gone. Like once you put it over there, that's emergency only. You know what I'm saying? So it's just society culturally, I think, and I'm going to say culturally because it's mostly in the minority community. Culturally, we think we're supposed to spend every dollar that we got because we see it right there. You know, but every other ethnicities, Jewish, Koreans, Caucasians, they don't do that. You know, it's proven that money transfers, that money stays in an Asian community 21 days. That means that they're spending money with their community 21 days before it leaves that community. Yeah.
That's us. That's a fact.
Yes.
That's a fact. That's
so yeah, Caucasian, I think it was like 11 days. You know, they're transferring it. It's staying in their community. Our money stays in our community 7 minutes.
Wow.
7 minutes.
I didn't know it was that low, but I knew that's crazy.
But that's what we do because we get paid, and the first thing we do is we spending it. We gotta go pay this person. We gotta go Walmart. We gotta go to Target. We gotta do this, and at that moment, it's out of our community. Yeah. But in order to stop poverty, we have to spend it in our community. This is how it works. The money goes around, and that's how you stop poverty. So if that's a problem in our community, and we need to be buying Black owned, we need to be sharing Black owned, we need to be keeping the money in our community so that our community can grow like everybody else is. You know, an Asian community, they come in and they open up a beauty supply store. Nobody shops at that beauty supply store but us. Yeah. Why can't we do that? No doubt. They are millionaires off of us. Indians come put convenience stores and liquor stores in our communities. Yeah. It's not that we don't have enough money. Yeah. We spending the money. We got plenty of money. We're the only ones spending the money. We're the highest rated consumers. 85% of the consumers are people of color. We got the money. We just don't have the knowledge on how to keep it in our community. And it also goes back to this too. You trying to build, instead of us coming together and making a conglomerate, you want to build a same type of business 2 blocks down from you, or on the same block. Where, as you see, what in different communities,
I mean, different other type of communities is spread out, and it's different people running, and they might, and it's like.
And they pass down.
Yeah, they pass down it to everybody.
Money.
But our problem is, as a black community, and I'm keeping it all the way 100. We don't want to see nobody else do better than us. That's what it seems like a lot of times, and that's a sad thing. And I hate, and I'm not generalizing or just making that all of us. But let's be real. That is something that is a problem in the black community, and it shouldn't be.
I think it always stems back to slavery. Like, we're so afraid to ask somebody for something. Yeah. We are so afraid to look like we working for somebody. We so afraid to look like we started from the bottom. Yeah. When other ethnicities, they have people who pass down property and money and knowledge and things like that. We can't work together enough to even get a piece of property to pass down.
No doubt.
So it's just the mindset has to change. And like, I swear, they say in 2050 that the net worth of African American people is going to be 0. That's tough. Because
that can be a reality.
Yes, and I can see it. And it's like I said, it's not that we not making no money. It's where we spending our money, how we spending our money. We want to go get some Alexander McQueen's and some Gucci, but we ain't set up our life insurance policy. Yeah. So that's deep.
That's very deep, but man, I'm telling you, this is exciting. I'm sucking up all the knowledge. You got me locked in, man. I'm being honest, but it's true. That's what people need to hear, And like I said, DreKen Talk, we do majority of sports, but at the same time, it's good with that. I'm good in that lane. Young and old needed to hear your story, as well as some men, because women are taking their part. They're doing what they're supposed to do. I'm for women's rights. I'm for seeing a woman do something. I'm not those chauvinists where you talking about a woman shouldn't be doing this, shouldn't be doing that. The only thing that I had that was a little. I'm not a chauvinist, but I see what they're saying is when they talk about male and female athletes making the same amount of money. Now, I said this. I said because of the fact that women's basketball and women's sports don't bring in the income that the revenue that these male teams have, that's why I don't think they should get paid the exact same that they do. Because every league is revenue driven, so the NFL and all that stuff is billions of dollars, so they can afford to pay them. Right. But the WNBA, they not pouring in billions like them. So
why is that?
I really don't know, because when you look at it, you think about this: girls basketball, they're better than us in far as like skill wise. They shoot the ball better than us, And let's be honest,
just as hard.
Yeah, and they work just as hard, and they look better than us. So I mean. But it's just the fact, I don't know what it is. It's just it's caught on, but it hasn't caught on yet. What's your thoughts of it?
I'm a little torn because I'm the player and I'm the owner. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So from the player's perspective, like I said, like they work just as hard as y'all.
Yeah.
So why shouldn't they be compensated?
And again, it goes back to the revenue part because
that too.
It's just like I can see if now the women, if you drawing that much money and you drawing that type of crowd and that type of revenue, then heck yeah, pay you.
Yeah.
But
I can't pay you something I'm not making.
Exactly. So,
but then I think that it goes back to the network and the PR and how can we get this on the same level as the NBA? What's different? How can we hype the girls up? How can they get sponsorships? How can they get shoes? How can they get how we do that?
I mean, you're right. You're totally right. But the WNBA and the NBA has been doing a good job of trying to put up the WNBA.
Okay.
And but it's just like I said, it's the revenue part. It's what
I'm with you on that.
It's how do you you're not having 20,000 fans come to a girls' basketball game. I mean, you might get that in the playoffs, maybe, but that's every week. Every 2 or 3 times a week for football. I mean for males. So
no, I can understand that because in relationship, I always revert back to my business and my industry. At the salon, my employees come in on tiered level, right? So they are on the lower tier. They might be a junior stylist, right? And they might charge for a wash and style might be $35. right? But when you start becoming more of a supply and demand, okay, I want her, but she busy, I can't get her, then we're going to increase your prices a little bit, right? So that you can get in more people, and some people going to fall off. And then as you get to a master stylist, we're going to increase you up a little bit. Some people drop off because they can't afford it, but that opens up some more space for people that's bringing in more money. So then I can pay you more. When you bring it in more, I can pay you more. So I understand that.
Now, let's be clear. I want to be clear. I just think that's just in the sports realm. In the sports realm of things, lady soccer, football, track, blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about now, when we talking about business and we talking about lawyers, we talking about doctors, we talking about stuff like that. And I think, we all should, everybody should get paid the same. Because, it's a service that you're providing. And there's a woman out there that's just as good as a man in everything, except, probably in everything. It's a woman out there just as good as a man. But what I'm saying is like when in the business, in the corporate world, and the professional world, when it comes to non-athletic sports things, I think that everybody should get paid the same. Or based on, at least if you got John Blow and Jane Blow right here, and their credentials are both the same, and their wins and their lawyers and their wins are the same, and they're just as tenacious, pay them the same.
It's supply and demand. It's supply and demand.
Yeah.
If you have two attorneys and one is doing better than the other, but she can't get you in, then what can I pay you to get me in? So I got to raise my prices up.
Well, and when I say they should get paid the same, I think that now the woman could get paid more, no doubt. Mm-hmm. But I'm just saying my main point is in the athletic world, it's about what you bring in.
So it's not really women and men.
It's not. It's women and men just because it's breaking. It's a difference between the sports. Not difference between the sports, but there's a difference between the gender.
Yeah, it just happens to be women and men.
So it's going to be different. It's going to be different. And like I said, I just don't think that women should get paid that same, not because they're not working as hard. It's just because of the revenue that they are producing. You see what I'm saying?
So you're saying if they're bringing in more people, then they should be getting paid the same?
If the NBA was bringing $20 billion a year in, and the WNBA was bringing $20 billion a year in, pay them the same. Have the same type of payment scale. Mm-hmm. Have the same type of salary cap. Have the same max players. So if she worked for it, if we bringing in this $20 billion just like the NBA, then Taurasi should be getting $20 million a year too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I agree with that.
Should get the max $40 million. I agree with that. But when it comes to sports, I just say you don't pay them the same just because of the amount of revenue that they generate.
Mm-hmm. So it's not based on their ability.
It's not based on that, but because a lot of times it's girls out there gonna outshoot boys all the time because they're fundamentally more sound. Now you got Stephen Curry and some of the others, but it's more women that can sit out there and hit jumpers all day long. Yeah. I bet on a woman before I bet on a guy shooting jumpers, just because I know that's they technique. It ain't so much athleticism like with basketball and with guys. They go in, they be athletes, and they gotta look like.
So I think people are marrying the athleticism with the business part of it. And that's what we was just talking about. Just because you can do it don't mean you can be a business owner. So as the business owner, I see what you're saying. Like you're thinking like the business owner. Yeah. If I own this team and you come to me and you're complaining about not making as much as this team, but this team is bringing in this and this, that's when you lay the numbers down because numbers don't lie. So yeah, absolutely, I agree with that.
Man, Monica, I'm gonna tell you, man, it's been an honor and a pleasure. This been a dope interview. Like, I'm gonna be honest, it's one of the best yet. You're my first female guest. You delivered on all the points in life, in sports, indirectly. I mean, you did it all. We appreciate your time. So, in closing, you take us out how Monica want to take us out. Take us out the Monica Lachelle way. Do your thing.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate that. Just in closing, I just want to speak to again culturally how we was talking about. We need to make sure that we change the poverty mindset, right? We need to make sure that we open our eyes. When I say that the net worth of Black African Americans is going to be 0 in 2050, that's 30 years from now. That's our children, right? They saying our children going to be broke. They saying our children not going to have nothing. They're not going to own nothing. I need the people to listen to this to start changing the mindset and figure out what you need to do to prove to these people that statistic is incorrect. It's incorrect. If you have something that you're sitting on that you're trying to launch, then get with somebody, figure out how to get it. As small as it is, it does not even matter. Just start. Stop looking at social media like like this is the it be all end all. You know, we get in trouble by looking at social media and it's like, okay, I'm not where she at, so I'm not even gonna start. But you don't know the backstory of those people. I'm the type of person that follows people from the beginning. I was on DreKen Talk when he didn't have his setup yet. I was on DreKen Talk when Greg didn't have the memory card that he wanted to have. Like, you know, so people want to grow with you. People want to grow with you. People want you to be transparent. They want to come up with you. So just start. Just jump out there. Remain humble. Always remain humble. Remain teachable. Remain coachable. The moment you feel like you know everything, then you're not gonna grow anymore. Hit me up on Instagram. I am Monica Lachelle. My brand is the Monica Lachelle Collection on Instagram. On Facebook, my website is www.monicalachelle.com. I'm at Vanquish Beauty Studio at 2130 Wards Road. There's no reason you should not be connected with me. Like, I am your life coach motivator for free right now. And I'm going to build you up. I can't wait to come back on here and chop it up with you again. It has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
And again, this is DreKen Talk, but I'm telling y'all right now, you better get us while we cheat. Because this thing...
Big facts.
This thing is going to pop, and when it do... Hey, my value gonna go up, her value gonna go up. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. But this has been DreKen Talks, Boss Talk with the Boss. It's Monica Lachelle. Like, share, subscribe, Vanquish, all that stuff.
Yes.
She's so hot. Her style is so hot. Go get your stuff done. We out.